Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Vance Williams out of the Seattle, Washington area here in the United States, and welcome to our first regular business day of 2015. As you're going to see, price moved a lot over the holidays, um, more than myself and any other major banks anticipated, actually. We'll talk about that. Right now, we're a little bit up in the air. We'll talk about that too. But to begin, I want to wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. I think this is going to be the best year in Forex trading in 7 or 8 years. So we got a real opportunity to make this a fantastic year. All right, so to see more of what I'm talking about on the show, when you do press the player, like you probably have already, make sure you click this Be Part of the Conversation right here. And then you're going to actually see some links over here on the right where you can follow me on Twitter, find out what I've got to say, just to get a notice a few minutes before the show. And then also you can go to my website here and you can download my free books. You can learn about my coaching program, that sort of thing. One of the things I want to impress on everybody is understand that one of the reasons why people have so much trouble trading Forex is they're under the misconception that if they know enough in their mind that they'll succeed. And that's sort of like imagining that if you read 1,000 books on how to hit a baseball, that you'd actually be able to hit it well. And it's just not true. I mean, the moment you start to swing the ball for the first time, that's actually your first moment at learning to hit the baseball, not the 1,000 books you read. I'll tell you what, I try to talk people out of that idea. It's very difficult to do, but for those of you who are smart, do consider that. Rewind and listen to what I said again. All right, so let's get to it. Want to say that what I do on this show is for educational purposes only. So even if I predict price movement 90% of the time, you're not going to make money just because you know which way price is going to go. You have to know how to manage your risk, and you have to be able to execute well. All right, so let's go to fundamentals. This is the first day of business, as I said, first regular business day of 2015. We've seen the euro dollar drop beyond the 1-2,000 level over Christmas and the New Year. It appears that this was central bank movement. I mean, not a lot of investors or traders and no major banks were around. So that leaves the central bankers, This week is a substantial week for data. We have ADP non-farm numbers on Wednesday. That's at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. On the same day, we have Fed minutes. So the market will be looking for clues about any change in the perception there. On Thursday, we hear from central bankers out of the United Kingdom. And on Friday, we have the official employment numbers for jobs. Excuse me. I didn't talk before I came on this early this morning here on the West Coast. So my voice is not awake yet. But on Friday, we have the official employment numbers out of the U.S. Right now, I would probably need to hear something from the central bankers. We're definitely long-term bullish on the dollar, bearish on the euro dollar. But that has moved more than expected at this particular point in time. And it's also very possible that the UK will take a hawkish stance on their future interest rates. So that'll be Thursday. The yen continues to be bearish long-term. Going from my gut, we might be due for a correction up since central bankers are going to be speaking later this week. So right now, just look for price to lead the story on the intraday charts. In major bank trades, so far, 2 of the major banks are back trading today. One of the top earners set 5 orders for pullbacks. One was on the euro dollar, 1 pound dollar, 1 dollar yen, 1 dollar franc, and 1 Australian dollar. So all of those trades are US dollar trades, trading for a bullish dollar. I think this is, but note that they're pullbacks, they're not entries. And I think this is congruent with what I said in the high impact data yesterday evening. We don't know where the bottom is in terms of the euro and the pound. So in the cycle of the medium-term story, we need pullbacks. Now, one thing that's different is that I was saying that we have central bank data due out this Wednesday and Thursday. All of the price movement that we've seen over the holidays was not anticipated by any of the 21 major banks, and I didn't anticipate it either. In my experience around the holidays is price loses liquidity, it's erratic. That's not what happened. Price just kept on moving like everybody was there. But none of the majors were expecting price to reach into the 119 area on the US dollar, for example, until June. So we have another change in the market that we needed to define a bit as the new year gets underway. Another major bank did enter a buy on the US dollar Canadian just a little earlier this morning. Okay, so they're back to work. I'm back to work. We're all back to work. My suggestion is to ease into the new year. Let's get a feel for what's happening. All right, let's talk about the buyer and seller behavior on the charts. This is the pound. We can see we've had a pretty good move down, a pretty good, darn good pullback on this last move down. This last move down was, how big was that? This last move was about 149 pips in 1 hour. And then that's reversed almost 100% before making a second push. Now let's drop down. So what I want to point out here is we've had a move down and we've had no break of, we've had no advance of the trend. So that's really important to know. Going to the 5-minute chart, what I want to point out to you is as this move was going down, you see you had a wave of 35 pips followed by a smaller one of 17. 17, a wave that's 17 pips in strength is not very strong, but you can see it pushed, pulled back, pushed again. So it's showing, this is showing exhaustion coming down here. And so that's why you got all these buy orders. So this last wave down has reversed 100%. And now they're looking at overtaking that previous wave. And so that's why I say we're kind of up in the air right now. Going to the euro dollar, same look as the pound. You've got this this last trend advance here. You've got it going across. It makes another push. And then let's go down to the 5-minute to see what's going on a little bit, where we can get a little bit closer look. And what we see here is we see a move down, a pullback, and a very weak second push, followed by that reversal. So we're kind of sitting in, the price is looking at a little bit of a correction right now. And the fundamentals are kind of obviously long-term bullish dollar, but in terms of medium term, it's kind of up in the air right now. We don't know if we have the impetus to push below here now. The central banks have already moved quite a bit down. So that's kind of where we're at. The pound yen, or excuse me, the dollar yen may be actually leading the US dollar correction here. In other words, it might be a leading indicator. You can see it's while the euro dollar and pound dollar, if we go back to these, let's go back to a 30-minute, pound 30-minute. So while they're looking at kind of playing around with the range, both of these, and kind of moving up a little bit, notice that the pound, the dollar yen has actually made a decision. It's moved out of a range and it's going negative US dollar, which would kind of point to a correction. So this is continuing to drop. Now, if you were looking at trading this, you would drop down to a 5-minute chart and you would look to get in on a pullback. We actually don't tend to use price logic, accuracy trading techniques on the pound yen. So I keep saying pound yen, dollar yen, as we see here. We'll follow and see if the behavior is good enough to trade that. We'll watch. But the main thing is you can see that the dollar is moving in a correction phase on the US dollar yen. And so that might continue to, let's drop back to the 5. That might continue to drag this pound dollar up and euro dollar up. So that's kind of where we're at. Australian dollar yen, it's in a range and actually pointing towards a bit of a correction up right now. New Zealand, same thing, pointing towards a bit of a correction. So that's how we're starting the first major business day of 2015. Want to remind you guys again, you can actually download my free books here. Tens of thousands have been downloaded right here. 8 things they don't tell Forex traders. I think that's really important so that you understand that hardly anything is what it seems in Forex trading. 8 things will show you that. And if you're new to Forex trading, you also get my book, The First Battle, which is about Forex trading basics. So that's about all I have for today. To our members on our trading team, we'll see you guys in about 45 minutes in our live trading room. Everybody else, welcome to 2015, and let's make it a great one. Cheers.